Oh, hello there. If you've been watching, you know that I recently received my long-awaited Travel Sax 2 that I bought by Indiegogo through a crowdfunding run, and it arrived and I'd set up the device and everything. And now I want to show a couple of hacks to the system. If you have one, then you know that it comes with one mouthpiece to fit over this. I believe it's the alto mouthpiece that actually fits directly onto the knob there, or the what do you call it, the vent there. So you actually attach it to that and you blow through, which means you're like this, as you saw, about this distance from it, which is not necessarily good for posture. I guess it will be better if you were a little bit further away, but I wanted to have the feel of perhaps a tenor or an alto sax instead of a soprano sax. So I was looking into buying the tube, the extension, and the bent ends, and I could have bought the complete kit or accessories of 3 for about $35 US, but it would have cost me $35 shipping, and I kind of balked at that only because it means I'd still be waiting and waiting and waiting, and then I'd still want to try to fit on that piece, and it may still not be exactly the feel I want to have, which is a feel like I'm playing on maybe a tenor or an alto sax. So what I did was I went on Amazon and I bought an alto mouthpiece, an alto neck. So with that, I noticed that the opening here was too big to fit on here. It was too big to fit any of the attachments that came with the Travel Sax or the Travel Sax 2 without some assistance. And that assistance I found in the form of a cork. A common cork from a wine bottle. And what I did was I took that cork, I put it in a vise, and I drilled maybe maybe a 1/4 inch hole, and I drilled it straight down the middle from one end through the other, so that the entire length of the cork had a hole through it. That was one thing, so I can now put air through it. And then I knew it would fit in here. I tested that, and it fit in there, and it wouldn't go further because it doesn't quite bend right then and there, at least without some serious doing. And it doesn't go past its own structure, so it kind of gets blocked at the crook there, which is what you want. You want it to not go too far. So anyway, then I had to figure a way to get an attachment or to get it over the mouthpiece here. I didn't want to damage this. I could damage the accessory pieces, but I didn't want to damage this. It took too long to get it, and it cost, let's face it, too much damn money to be wasting or ruining that way, in a foolish way. So what I did was take the mouthpiece and, well, the neck, and attached it with that cork via way of one of the accessory pieces. So the mouthpiece adapter pieces. And in order to fit it in there, I had to route the cork maybe out to 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch for about a 1/2 inch depth to, at the most, about 3/4 of an inch depth. And then I was able to push in the soprano piece, which is the smallest of them. If you go larger, then you could probably fit the other 2 in there, but then you get pretty close to filling out the space, and then you'd have to get another cork if you went too far. So the first level was to get the soprano piece in, and then put it in deeply, squeeze it in, push it as far as it can go. Now you can see it barely moves at all. It does have very subtle give, but not very much. Anyway, so now it fits perfectly onto the Travel Sax as such. What you can do now, as you can see, that fits fine here, and it gives you a profile like such. So at least you have it in place. And I don't have the neck strap fixed up yet, but I'll pull that next. but so it fits firmly onto the neck with just enough give so that nothing's going to break. And you actually have a slight bit of flexibility of give, so you're not breaking your teeth if you bang something or bump something. Ideally, you won't bump something. But anyway, so you put your mouthpiece on. By the way, the neck costs about 29 bucks on Amazon, and I kept the alto mouthpiece from the kit that came with Travel Sax, so that was fine. I didn't have to buy that again. The neck piece cost 30 bucks. Shipping was free on Amazon, which means that I saved about 5 bucks in the shipping. Actually 5 bucks and then the shipping. And if it's like this, for now, it's a perfect fit for me to play it just like so. Okay? Now, this is a bonus hack. Bonus hack. If you've ever noticed, if you've had any EWIs, you notice that the spout most of them have a spout for spittle. What I did was find a tube and maybe a spray bottle and cut a section of it off, put it in there, one that fits, put it in there, and then if you get yourself a pack of very cheap Q-tips, plastic ones that are hollow, cut off the ends, and you have yourself a perfect stopper there to save yourself from the spittle. So again, the length of the tube, I put maybe about a ½ inch. You could probably get like an inch in there, but a ½ inch is enough to push it in there and make sure it's firm so that it doesn't go further. It shouldn't have to reach all the way up in there and hit anything if there is something back there. But it's just enough and it's tight enough so that it won't move one way or the other. The Q-tip, if you use a Q-tip alone, it would not fill that space. It would be in there. You'd have to either bend it and hope that it didn't just shoot out when you're below, because the air pressure would push it out. I shot it out several times before I figured out that perhaps something else holding it would do better. And what I did was eventually settle on, I found that one rather, inside of a spray bottle that had just enough, just the right size tube. I tried about 4 or 5 different ones. Lotion bottles generally won't work because the tubes are usually thicker for thicker substances like lotion. Anyway, so I got one, and then I had to make sure that the Q-tip would fit inside of it. So I tested it on both the fit of the Q-tip first while it was still on the bottle. Then I cut a section out of the bottle, put it in there. Once it fit, then you attach it to both right there. So basically, you take that spout, put that there, and you catch whatever spittle is coming out of the Q-tip. Q-tips, cheap. Toss it away when you're done with it. If it gets wet, rarely does. And make sure, of course, after you're done using your device, you clear it for spit and for moisture inside the chambers. And that is my hack and a bonus hack for you. I won't give much of a review of it. I will say that I'm looking now at sound sources for it because I'm not extremely happy with the sound quality of the one that's in there, but I'm appreciative that we have sound at all and different sounds so we can at least practice with them. But it doesn't give you a real sensation, a real sound of a sax here, which is why they offer the opportunity to get something like SWAM or I guess other variations on the same theme of audio modeling devices or audio modeling software or apps. And I'm settling, I think I like the SWAM. I haven't gotten it yet, but only because although you get a 45-day free trial, that's on a device on desktop or your laptop. And if you want the app, like in the App Store for Apple, you actually have to pay for it. And then, well, maybe not. What I'm going to do is contact SWAM and then see how they can honor it without me paying the $89 to just try it out. And then I'll decide whether or not I want to use it for the app, because I'm not going to use it on the desktop. I don't take the desktop or the laptop with me all the time. I do have my iPhone, however, with me. So the version for the iPhone and iPad are the ones that I will be using. A note for Odisei. Great job. If you can work that out, then I'm like 100% on board with you. No, I love you guys anyway. Anyway, so that's what I have for you today. I've still not learned to play professionally, but I'm learning my skills right now. I hope you too are learning to become what I am, a Saxy mother.